Hello, my name is Amaris Cosby. I'm here today to read She Persisted. This book was illustrated by illustrated by Alexandra Boisier and written by Chelsea Clinton. So let's get started. Sometimes being a girl isn't easy. At some point, someone may tell you your dreams are impossible. Don't listen to them. These 13 American women didn't. They persisted. And here is the picture. Harriet Tubman was born a slave, but her story doesn't end there. She persisted, escaping from slavery and leading her family, friends, and strangers to freedom. And that's Harriet Tubman. And there's a little quote, and it says, "I should fight for my liberty as long as my strength lasts." Once Helen Keller became blind and deaf, few people thought she'd ever be able to read, write, or speak. But she persisted and learned how to do all three and used her story to work for more opportunities for people with disabilities around the world. And here's that picture. And her quote says, "One can never consent to creep when one fails an impulse to soar." After her family fled Ukraine for a new home in New York City, Clara Limlich got a job working at a factory with terrible conditions. She persisted and helped secure better conditions for thousands of workers. And there's a picture there. And her quote says, "I am one of those who suffers from the abuse described here, and I move that we go on a general strike." And she has a little sign that says, "Picket Lady Taylor Strikers." Nellie Bly was determined to become a reporter, even though some men said it wasn't something women could do. At times, putting her safety at risk, she persisted throughout her career in exposing how badly people were being treated. And there's a picture here. And her quote says, "I have never written a word that did not come from my heart. I never shall." From an early age, Virginia Apgar was determined to be a doctor. She persisted in creating the Apgar score to test a newborn baby's health, which hospitals all over the world still use today. There's a picture. And her quote says, "Nobody is going to stop breathing on me." Maria Tallchief was teased in school for her Native American heritage and later told to change her name to something that sounded Russian. She persisted, ignoring the taunting and bad advice to become the first great American prima ballerina. And that's her picture. And her quote is, "It never occurred to me to say, it hurts to do that." As a 15-year-old African-American girl, Claudette Colvin was expected to give up her seat on the bus to a white woman. In her refusal to get up, she persisted in taking a stand for what's right, inspiring others, including Rosa Parks, to stay seated for equal rights and justice. This is her picture. And her quote says, "I knew then and know now that when it comes to justice, there is no easy way to get it. You can't sugarcoat it. You have to take a stand and say, this is not right." When Ruby Bridges was in kindergarten, many schools still refused African American students their equal right to an education. She had to walk through protesters to get to school, but she persisted, integrating an all-white elementary school in New Orleans. That's her picture. And then her quote says, "That fateful walk to school began a journey, and we all must work together to continue moving forward." As the first woman to serve as both a U.S. representative and a U.S. senator, Margaret Chase Smith could have let that be her legacy. Instead, she persisted in championing women's rights, standing up for free speech, and supporting space exploration. That's her picture. And then her quote says, "The right way is not always the popular and easy way. Standing for right when it's unpopular is a true test of moral character." Sally Ride always believed women could succeed in any math or science career. She persisted and became the first American woman in space, and then created programs to help generations of young women achieve their dreams. And then her quote says, "Young girls need to see role models in whatever careers they may choose, just so they can picture themselves doing those jobs someday. You can't be what you can't see." When as a kid, Florence Griffith Joyner visited her father, he would urge her to run as fast as a jackrabbit. She persisted in believing she could, and at the 1988 Summer Olympics, she became the fastest woman ever. I'm really sorry I butchered that reading there. And that's her. And it says, her quote says, "When anyone tells me I can't do anything, I'm just not listening anymore." I like that. Oprah Winfrey's grandmother expected Oprah to become a maid. Oprah knew that her dreams would take her somewhere else. She persisted and became a media superstar, hosting the highest rated talk show of all time. And that is Oprah. And then her quote says, "The biggest adventure you can ever take is to live the life of your dreams." Watching fictional judges on television inspired Sonia Sotomayor to want to be a real-life judge. She persisted, eventually becoming a Supreme Court justice and the first ever Latina to sit on America's highest court. That's her picture. And then her quote says, "I have never had to face anything that could overwhelm the native optimism and stubborn perseverance I was blessed with." So, if anyone ever tells you no, if anyone ever tells you your voice isn't important or your dreams are too big, remember these women. They persisted, and so should you. And that was She Persisted, 13 American Women Who Changed the World. Thanks for reading with me.